Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie and discuss it every week, just like a book club. On today's show, we're covering the action drama Fight Club. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 1999, Fight Club was directed by David Fincher and stars Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, and Helena Bonham Carter. An insomniac office worker and a devil-may-care soap maker form an underground fight club that evolves into much more. It is currently ranked 13 on IMDb's Top 250 and has a 4.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd and is ranked 176 on its Top 250. It was nominated for 1 Academy Award for Best Sound Effects Editing. Before we dive into today's movie, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for the movie. A major spoiler warning for this movie if you have not seen it before and don't know what happens in it. Don't watch this video. Go watch the movie first if you're at all curious, and then come back. Because if you don't know the spoiler twist in this movie, you are going to hate us for spoiling it for you. Yes. And we don't want you to hate us. So go watch it first and then come back. But stay tuned to the end of the show for what we're watching next week, because it, again, is going to be a real left turn. Alrighty, Kevin. So here we are with Fight Club. This is your pick this week, and what made you pick it?
I remember really enjoying it. I watched it before we started to do Movie Club because there was a major twist in there. I didn't know about the twist, so I wanted to see what the twist was about.
Alrighty, simple enough. This was actually a movie that I had never seen and watched for the first time recently. I want to say within the last couple of months, and then had to rewatch for this now. And so, this is a movie I kicked myself for never seeing.
Oh, me too.
It's one of those movies that like everyone knows and everyone quotes, and it's kind of ridiculous because you're like, how have I not seen it? And so it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of like one of those, I don't want to say meme movies, but like you see so many clips of the movies, you're like, I kind of know this entire movie, but until you actually watch it, you're like, oh, so that's where that's from. Oh, that's okay.
And so many people freaking quote, first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club, right? Like,
yeah.
Everyone quotes that endlessly. You said you used to enjoy this movie?
No.
Oh.
I said I enjoyed it the first time watching it.
Oh, okay. So was this your second time watching it for the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, gotcha. So it sounds like you didn't enjoy it as much this time.
A little bit. I would say like it was a little bit slower than I remember it being. It was nicely paced though. Just some of the stuff I didn't really enjoy, like I guess like some parts I think could have been cut out a little bit, but again, I don't know what they would cut out to not hinder the movie a lot.
Sure, and I do understand what you're saying. I am kind of on the same level. I do think the pacing does suffer just a little bit in the second act, in the middle of the movie, and I think that's where I would have cut some of it out.
Yeah, because you have your peak in the first act, then a little bit of a dip in the second, and then when you get hit with the spoiler, it shoots off like a rocket. So
balls to the wall in the third act for sure. So let's go ahead and continue chatting about this a little bit. So I think we're both on the same page there. Middle of the movie is where it kind of drags a little bit, but now that we can kind of move on from that, the cast is great here.
I love the cast. I mean, you have like the nerdy guy, and I'm gonna forget his name, but I'm looking at Edward Norton, who a lot of people I feel like can relate with him. He's not like Brad Pitt, like supermodel status. He just looks like a normal guy, and I related with him a little bit. Just because he just looks so normal, and I absolutely love about that. And then you also have Brad Pitt, like the cool friend who's like, he's being your friend not just because he has to be. You like grew up in the same neighborhood as him, and he's like he's actually a friend, but he's just so much cooler than you, kind of ordeal.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
they're the difference between the two is so startlingly different. And so then when they start hanging out more and becoming closer, it's really kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it is, because it feels like they're connecting in a way. I don't
Feels
want
like they're two peas in a pod.
they're to share the same brain.
We already gave a spoiler warning for the movie, so we can go ahead and drop it.
But a spoiler, because I was
Yeah.
not spoiled on this movie. I was not spoiled on this movie, and this twist absolutely blew my mind. So stop it here. Again, we've warned you twice
There you
now.
go.
Garrett has, I have. So, oh my god, that twist though.
The twist, of course, being that Edward Norton, whose character is just called narrator, Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are the same person.
Yeah.
And that Tyler Durden, who is Brad Pitt, is the alternate persona or the alternate personality of Edward Norton.
Yeah, and I feel like we all have that. I don't want to say other personality, but like when we went to Knott's Berry Farm recently, and I wanted to go on this ride, but I kind of had to like force myself to. So I just like basically someone else told me, okay, just put your stuff down and you're going on, like period, end of story. But
your Tyler Durden came out and was like, hey,
exactly,
you're going on.
Yeah, because you're gonna like it, and this is what you got to do it. And it's like you kind of hype your. He's what's his name? Dursey. I'm gonna say that wrong.
Tyler Durden.
He's your hype man, pretty much. He's your hype man that's inside of your head, which I love to hear this now, because every time I watch this movie, I'm like, my hype man's gonna come talk to me real quick, and we're gonna go do it. Like pretty much saying it like that.
Brad Pitt's going to come out of nowhere and just start massaging your shoulders and going, Kevin, you're going on. You're going on.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what's happening in my head now. But he is fantastic as Tyler Durden here. Edward Norton is also great as well. Helena Bonham Carter playing a very different role than I think I've ever seen her play. She's not like a junkie, but she's doing the same thing that Edward Norton is, and taking advantage of like survivor groups and that kind of thing. And so they're kind of two peas in a pod, even though they don't really like each other at first. And then, things happen, obviously. But I mean, the rest of the cast, Jared Leto's in this movie.
Yeah.
Which Morbius himself. Meatloaf, who, I don't think I've ever seen Meatloaf act in a movie before, and he's really good at here.
He's good. Yep.
And then an actor who I have come to like quite a lot, Holt McCallany, is also in this movie. He was recently in Iron Claw. He was the dad of all the wrestlers. He was also in the David Fincher show Mindhunter, so he's worked with David Fincher several times now. Okay. Everyone in this movie is really good. And I think that also, that does lean to the fact that the story itself and the script is good, really good for this movie as well. And particularly, I think that it really works not only superficially with the dialogue and everything going on, but also like some of the deeper meanings of the film. And this is a movie that you do need to watch a couple of times to fully grasp not only what it's going for, but what you think it's going for. Because I know several people who walk away with this with a different idea every single time.
Well, and you get to see, like, since you know the twist now, what little signs that you can see during the rest of the movie. And that's what I tried to watch for during the second viewing of this was, okay, what can I spot that I didn't spot in the first one that might give it away that they are the same person? And to be honest, really couldn't find anything like in your face, like they're the same person. It was just like maybe some minor things that I couldn't even tell you. So I'd have to watch it again. Oh no. Looks like
oh no.
Oh no.
This movie did I end up buying this movie? I feel like I don't know. I'll have to check later, but like I'm definitely this is one I really want to watch again because
Yeah.
there are different meanings and different things that you walk away from this.
Mhm.
There is definitely an anti-consumerism message here,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Brands and like everything having to do with the apartment and all the furniture and like
Yeah.
the way that it shows those things. Obviously, there's commentary on violence in this movie
Mhm.
and how pointless it is. But like, is it pointless if we can't not do it? But there's also like this movie really. It is a kind of a deconstruction of masculinity in some ways, and kind of both sides of it, the more peaceful and the more violent side, and all the other different shades of the rainbow, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, but this really is a product of the 90s. This has a lot of night like it's not like because I feel like recently I've watched a lot of movies from the early 2000s,
Mhm.
and those movies are aggressively of their time. Everyone has an
Yeah.
iPod, everyone has an iMac, everyone
Mhm.
has that thing to show off that it's 2002 or 2004, the
Yep.
music, the stars, or whatever. This one feels like it is not happy that it takes place when it does, and it is reminding you how shitty it was.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and I like how it looks like 1999. And
mhm.
like some movies are like, oh, it's in the future. Oh, it's in the past. Someone's like, yeah, we're here. This is when it's going to take place, and look how crappy it looks. It's very. I put in my review. It's very. The camera that they use is very gritty and not dark, but like
It's almost dirty.
yeah, dirty because of what the living situation. It's dirty. It's not nice and clean and polished. But this movie's not like that. So I kind of like the way it was going with the cinematography and
Yeah.
the house that they live in. It looks fantastic because of what is going on, and I feel like. I don't know if you got this, but the house feels like his brain, and he doesn't know where to sleep. He doesn't know who he is, and it always changes in his mind. So I that's how I felt a little bit about it walking away from this one.
I love it. You're picking up on these things, and I
Mm,
love it.
mhm.
Yeah, it is. It's a crazy film. There's so
Yeah.
much going on, and literally, you could walk out of this. Like I said, every single time you could walk out of it different. You could watch, like Kevin. You could watch it again tomorrow and be like, "Yeah, I hate Starbucks and all these companies. They're horrible." And then the next time you watch it, you can be like, "Man, this movie's gay as fuck." Or then like you could walk out of the next time and be like, I like what it was saying about violence, or like that
Yeah.
the house is that like every single time you can walk out of something different, and that's what's
Hmm.
really a key of a great film. That you could there's so much going on that you can walk away with it from, and it's different, and you find something else every time you watch it. It's
And
great.
then even knowing the twist, like I was saying before, it still helped me watch this movie because I know the twist is coming. I know this is, but I'm looking at other things to maybe solidify me that the twist was happening right then, and not like when we get shown the twist.
Hmm. Yeah,
So good.
it's so good, um, and I think that this movie is violent, and I do want to talk about the opening. The opening of this movie is fantastic.
Hmm.
The credit sequence and kind of everything leading up to what happens in the beginning, it's iconic.
Yep.
Some really wonderful cinematography as well.
Hmm.
Specifically, the scene when Edward Norton and Helena Bonham Carter are watching the city explode
Yeah.
is really good. Just a gorgeous film. I mean, it does feel dirty. I do feel like I have to take a shower every time I look at part of this movie.
Hmm.
But it is a fantastic film, fantastically structured, fantastically written, performed. Everything's firing on all cylinders here. It just needs a little bit of cut out of the middle.
Yeah. Just something to like the goes up, down, up again. And it's like if it just maybe flatlined in the middle, I think I would have given it a better score. But it's too much of a dip for me.
Alrighty, Kevin. So Fight Club was your pick. I will go ahead and give my score first. I said that
Hmm.
Fight Club is a boisterous, violent, and obscene film that is utterly irresistible. I can't more highly recommend it to someone who hasn't seen it before, especially if you don't know anything about it. There's so much you can walk away from this movie with, messaging wise. But I think at the very least, you can enjoy the performances. and the tone and the visual style. And so because of that, I gave it a 95 out of 100, same score as last week, and a 4.5 stars out of 5.
So after watching this movie for a second time, I wanted to look for the little things that I might have not picked up on watching it for the first time. And like we were saying, the house being his brain and how it was constructed like that. Stuff like that. I wanted to go watch it during the second viewing. But again, acting is fantastic, scenery fantastic, the grunginess, the dirtiness, like you were saying, in the shots and the camera just makes it feel so much like grounded for me a little bit too, because it's not pretty and polished like we were talking about. And then the twist, obviously, first time it got me, I was like, holy shit, like great way not to even, I wasn't anticipating it, so that's what makes it a great movie. I told Garrett yesterday it was going to be an 82 out of 100. Now, since we've been talking about it, it's a 90 out of 100. So it already went, yeah, it already went up 8 points. But just talking about it, it was like, yeah, I actually like this movie a lot more than I thought I did. When I first watched this movie, I think I gave it like a 97 out of 100. But now talking about it and watching it a second time, that little delay in the middle of the second act really kind of catches it. Yep, exactly. So 90 out of 100 is what I give it, which accumulates to 4.5 stars out of 5.
So we both gained the same exact score 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gave Some Like It Hot last week a 90, and
Yes, I did.
gave Some Like It Hot a 95. I love it. So the question now falls to you. What do you think of Fight Club? We'd love to hear what you have to say down in the comment section down below, but remember to be respectful of one another, because that other person may be actually you. Who knows? But next week we'll be covering a big one, the Russian science fiction drama Stalker. We are super excited to talk about this one, so make sure to watch it before next week so you're not spoiled. And again, thank you so much for watching. We do have this live stream that goes live every single week or not this live stream, our live stream that goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as this show, Movie Club, which goes live every Friday at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.